In this episode, we look at the strand measurement and the topic perimeter. In this lesson, we will estimate, measure, and record the perimeter of polygons in centimeters. Solve problems requiring the calculation of one of the following: the perimeter or the length of one side. Engage. Examine the poster to remind you what perimeter is. Perimeter. The perimeter is the total distance around the outside of a 2D or two-dimensional shape. You calculate the perimeter of a 2D shape by adding together all the lengths of the shape. So here we have this shape, and we go this side plus this side plus this side plus this side, and that would give us a total distance around the shape. So what's perimeter? It is a total distance around the outside of a two-dimensional shape. Explore. In a previous lesson, we looked at estimating. Remember, estimating means to find a value that is close enough to the right answer, usually with some thought or calculation involved. Look at these figures and estimate their perimeter. Then you can use your ruler to measure it in centimeters. So if we had the actual printout, it would make it easier for us to do this. Okay, so what you could do then at home, you could look at an envelope, for example, and then measure the length and the width of it to get the perimeter of that envelope. Same thing here, we have another shape, and we were supposed to estimate and then find the actual perimeter. So you can look for another shape around the house or at school and make a measurement of that. For example, a notebook. Were your estimates close to the actual measures? If you practice by using the knowledge you have on linear measurements, then estimating will be close to the actual measures. Now, let's try to find the perimeter if we are given one side of a shape. The red triangle is equilateral with a side of 23 centimeters. Now, there are certain things we have to understand about, certain shapes. So in an equilateral triangle, if we go back to the word, equi means or comes from the root equal. So this prefix means equal, okay? So it has equal sides. So if we have the side here, that means this side will be equal, this side to the left will be equal to the side at the bottom and be equal to the side at the right. Its perimeter is, and let's see how we would do that. If the triangle is equilateral, then the lengths of all the three sides are equal. So the two other sides would measure 23 centimeters. So this side would be 23 and this side would be 23 as well. Therefore, the perimeter of the red triangle is 23 plus 23 plus 23. And that would give us a total of 69 centimeters. Can you think of another operation than addition? Show how you would arrive at your answer here. So we could use multiplication, because multiplication is really what? Repeated addition of the same number. So instead of saying 23 plus 23 plus 23 is equal to 69, we could say 23 times 3. 3 3s 9 and 3 2s 6. We still end up with 69 centimeters. All right. Are there any other shapes that these two methods may be applied to? And we will come to that. Now, draw an example in this box and explain your answer in the space provided. Now, I could think of a square. So a square has what? All sides being what? Equal. All right, so that's one of the characteristics of a square. So if we have a square and it has 4 sides and one side is 2, then I need to multiply that 2 by 4. So 4 2s would give me 8. All right. What if you are given the perimeter of the shape and asked to find the length of one side? So they don't tell you what all the sides are. They just give you the perimeter and then you're asked to find one side with some additional information. Here's an example. The perimeter of a regular pentagon, now that's a 5-sided figure. The prefix penta means 5, all right? So the perimeter of a regular pentagon is 30 centimeters. Now, what is the length of one of its sides? So it would be helpful to draw the diagram. All right, let's go with this. So A plus A plus A plus A plus A should be equal to 30 centimeters. So let's go. So this side, 1 side plus 2 side plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 should be equal to 30 centimeters, or a side times 5 should be equal to 30 centimeters. Therefore, we could do the what? Opposite of multiplication and divide the 30 centimeters by 5, which would be equal to 6 centimeters. So one of these sides is 6. So 6 times 5 would give me 30. Now let's examine if the shape is a rectangle and you are asked to find the length of one of its sides given the measure of another of its sides and the perimeter. Note, this applies only to parallelograms. For example, rectangles, squares, and a rhombus. Here's the example. The perimeter of a rectangle is 24 centimeters and its width is 4 centimeters. What is its length? Now remember that a rectangle has what? Length and width. So let's go now. To calculate this, it would be helpful if you made a model. So here's a model I've drawn up. So it has the width here and the width here, and remember that they are the same, and we have now the length here and the length here we are trying to find. All right, let's see what this says now. Remember, in a rectangle, the length of 2 opposite sides are equal. See it here, 4 here and 4 here. So whatever this one is going to be the same as that one. All right, that makes sense. So then the length of the 2 known and unknown sides are equal. Add the 2 known sides, subtract the answer from the perimeter, and then divide by 2. Let's go with that. Add the 2 known sides, subtract from the perimeter, and then divide the answer by 2. So let's see if we can figure this out. So we're going to add these 2 sides, then we're going to subtract whatever we get by adding these 2 from the perimeter, and then divide that answer by 2 to get these. All right, that seemed to make sense. Let's go now and see how this works. That is 4 plus 4 is 8 centimeters. Okay, and now we must take that 8 centimeters from the 24 and we end up with 16 centimeters. Then that 16, we're going to divide that 16 by 2 and we get 8 centimeters. Therefore, the length of the rectangle is 8 centimeters. Let's go with this. So this would be 8 here and 8 here. Okay, so let's see, 8 and 8 is 16. 16 and 4 here is 20. 20 and 4 is 24. And that is what they said, that the perimeter was 24 centimeters. Evaluate. Tim's garden is shaped like a square whose side is 9 meters. What's the length of the fence which would surround the garden? A garden is shaped like a square. One of the sides is 9 meters What do we know about squares? That all sides are equal. Therefore, 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 should be equal to the perimeter. Another way of stating this would be 9 meters by 4 sides. So 9 fours would give us 36. So the answer for the first one should be 36 meters. Always remember to include your units in the answer. So again, 36 meters would be the perimeter for the square. So the length of the fence, which would surround the garden, based on what we saw, would be 36 centimeters. Number 2, the regular hexagon below has a perimeter of 42 centimeters. What is the length of one side of the hexagon? So this is the hexagon, and we have our hexagon here. We know the perimeter is 42 centimeters. What do we know about hexagons? A hexagon has 6 equal sides. Therefore, the perimeter should be side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3, side 4, side 5, and side 6. And all of those should be equal to 42 centimeters. Another way of stating this would be 6 sides are equal to 42 centimeters. And if we do a little reduction here, a little algebra, we could say I want to get S by itself. So I will divide the left hand side of this equation by 6 and then divide the right hand side of the equation by 6, because the rule is whatever I do to one side of the equation must be done to the other side as well. So if I divide by 6 on the left hand side, for balance, I must divide the right hand side by 6 as well. Therefore, 6 will cancel 6 on the left hand side, leaving me with the S I want to find, which is one side. And then 42 divided by 6, 6 into itself one time, and 6 into 42 goes 7 times. Therefore, one side is equal to 7. Now I need to check that. So 6 times 7 is equal to 42, and that would be correct. So again, what is the length of one side of the hexagon? So one side would be 7 centimeters. Let's move on now to number 3. The perimeter of the rectangle is 20 centimeters. One side is 6 centimeters. What is the length of the missing side? So we have this here now. We know that the perimeter should be 20. We have 6 for this long side. Now what do we know? We know that rectangles have parallel sides. The 2 long sides are equal and the 2 short sides are equal. So if this is 6, then the parallel side will be 6, and whatever length this short side is will be the same length here. All right. So we know, based on what we have already, we know that 6 plus 6 plus the short side and another short side should be equal to the perimeter, which is 20 centimeters. So let's start working down now. So 6 and 6 would be 12, and S plus S is the same as 2S. So 12 plus 2S should be equal to 20 centimeters. All right, let's look at this then. Now, again, a little algebra. I want to get S by itself. I'm going to take away 12 from the left hand side, and then I'm going to, for balance, take away 12 from the right hand side as well. So now this 12 will cancel this 12, right? So I will have 2S by itself on the left hand side, and then I had 20 and I'm going to take out the 12. So 20 take away 12. Then 2S will be equal to 8. Now, something you need to note. This 8 is for the 2 sides. Note 2S. Note we said 2S. We need to know what one side is. Alright, so let's continue doing a little bit of algebra. I want to get S by itself, and S represents the length of one side. So what I will do again, I will divide this side by 2 and divide this side by 2. 2 will cancel 2, leaving me with S, and 2 will go into 8 4 times. 2 into itself 1 time, 2 into 8 4 times. Therefore, one side is equal to 4. All right, let's see if this is correct. We're going to check now. So 6 plus 6, the length of the two long sides, plus 4 plus 4, the length of the two short sides, should all be equal to 20 centimeters. So let's go with this then. So 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4 should be equal to 20. Therefore, 6 and 6 is 12, and 4 and 4 would be 8. 12 and 8 should be 20. And when we are done, we have 20 on the left-hand side, and we have 20 on the right-hand side. Now, please note, when both sides of an equation have the same amount, it is balanced. And in this case, I know that I'm correct once I get 20 on both sides of the equal sign. All right. So one side is equal to 4 centimeters. Again, what is the length of the missing side? One side would be equal to 4 centimeters. Finally, number 4, Jule adds a border around his mirror. The mirror is shaped like a triangle. Each side is 35 centimeters long. How long is the border? Now, once we hear this, that each side is 35 centimeters long, it means that they all have the same length. What do we call that again? That type of triangle would be an equilateral triangle. So here we have our diagram, which represents the scenario given to us. We have 35 centimeters. An equilateral triangle has all 3 sides of the same length. All right. So if this side is 35, then this one should be 35, and this one should be 35 as well. Therefore, a plus a plus a should be equal to the perimeter. So that would be 35 plus 35 plus 35 should be equal to the perimeter. Or we could rewrite this section as 35 times 3. That should be equal to the perimeter. Now 35 times 3, 3 5s would give us 15. We're going to write 5 and carry 1. And 3 3s would be what? 9. 9 and 1 would give us 10. Put the whole 10 down. Therefore, the perimeter is what? 105 centimeters. So the border is equal to 105 centimeters. Again, how long is the border? The border is 105 centimeters long. So in this episode, we were looking at measurement, especially with regards to perimeter. And what is perimeter? Perimeter is the total distance around the outside of a 2D shape. All right, now you're going to go ahead and you're going to go to your textbook and you're going to follow up with the activities given on perimeter. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.